I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 12th, 2015. Israeli authorities arrested 15 Palestinians overnight last night, according to Israeli paper website Ma'ariv. IDF border police and Israel police made the arrest during several operations last night in the West Bank. The suspects are accused of terrorist activities and violent disturbances against Israeli civilians and Israeli security forces. In response to the repeal earlier this year of a law aimed at easing the conversion process in Israel, a group of Israeli rabbis have formed a network of private conversion courts. If you recall, last year the Israeli government had approved a law that would broaden access to the conversion courts in Israel, but it was repealed earlier this year by the new government. The new network of courts will work independently from the formal state conversion system. They are hoping to address the needs of Israeli citizens, in particular from the former Soviet Union, who are not considered Jewish according to Jewish law. The independent network will be led by Rabbi Nahum Rabinovich, who serves as the dean of the Ma'ale Adumim Hesder Yeshiva, a program which combines yeshiva study with IDF service. Chairman of the Jewish Agency for Israel, Natan Sharansky, called the creation of the independent system an important step in, quote, the process of ingathering the exiles from throughout the world in an era of lost identities and growing assimilation. Other leading rabbis who have worked to establish the independent system are Chairman of the Tzohar Rabbinical Association, Rabbi David Stav, and Chief Rabbi of Efrat, Rabbi Shlomo Riskin, among others. British officials are dismissing a petition which calls for the arrest of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he visits London next month. The petition, which is on the UK Parliament's official website, accuses the Israeli Prime Minister of war crimes, blaming him for civilian deaths in Gaza during last summer's Operation Protective Edge. Israel holds Hamas to blame for civilian deaths as the terror group fought from residential areas using civilians as human shields. The petition currently has over 40,000 signatures, and British law apparently calls for a petition to be addressed in Parliament if it reaches over 100,000 signatures. However, officials from Britain's Foreign Ministry called the petition a publicity stunt and reiterated the UK's strong ties and cooperation with Israel yesterday, saying they are closer than ever. The ministry also noted that anyone can start a petition on the website for any cause. Netanyahu is set to arrive in London in September to meet with Prime Minister David Cameron. Lithuania's Jewish community is voicing its strong opposition to a government-backed plan to build a Congress and Convention Center complex on the site of an old Jewish cemetery. Lithuania's Chief Rabbi Chaim Berstein called the building plans to build over the graves of Vilnius's old Jewish cemetery in Piramont an unacceptable desecration. Many leaders of the Lithuanian stream of ultra-Orthodoxy in Israel and in the U.S. have voiced their objection as well. And last week, a group of 12 American heads of yeshivas issued a joint letter of protest. The Simon Wiesenthal Center has also expressed its opposition. Head of the center's Jerusalem office, Ephraim Zuroff, said it was hard to believe that no alternate site could be found for the project, one that would not disturb the remains of deceased Jews. Israel's Knesset building is celebrating its 50th birthday at the end of this month. The building was constructed on August the 30th of 1966, and this August the 30th, the Knesset will kick off several events for this year and into next year as well, including a special tour for visitors highlighting great moments in the Knesset's history, a 3D virtual tour, and a TV series that begins in September. Speaker of the Knesset, Yuli Edelstein, said yesterday, the 50 years that passed in the current Knesset building include exciting, surprising, and sometimes painful historic moments that belong to all Israelis, adding that more than ever, the values of democracy that the Knesset represents are significant to Israeli society. The Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations honored its former chairman, Robert Sugarman, upon the completion of his tenure there. Sugarman stepped down in June. He was honored this week at a special reception in New York City to recognize his accomplishments and his years of service to the Jewish people and to the State of Israel. Those in attendance included Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Ron Prosor, Israel's Consul General in New York City, Ambassador Ido Aharoni, Conference Executive Director, CEO Malcolm Hoenlein, past chairman of the conference Richard Stone, and present chairman Stephen M. Greenberg, who took over for Sugarman on June the 1st. And looking now at our programming for tonight, Wednesday, August the 12th, coming up at 7 o'clock, Auschwitz survivor Barbara Fishman-Traub tells of her time in the Nazi death camp. At 8 o'clock, director of the Middle East Political and Information Network, Eric Mandel, discusses the dangers of the BDS, the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement, and what can be done to combat it. At 9 o'clock, a L'chaim roundtable on the Iran deal. Then at 10, the films of Mel Brooks are discussed by Columbia professor Jeremy Dauber from the 92nd Street Y. And right after this newscast tonight, Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 12th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.